I'm a taxi driver. The other night I had a passenger I will never forget. We are all cursed, and the cruelest part of it is that we don't even see it. Our eyes won't show us. Our minds refuse to comprehend it. I used to live under the arrogant impression that my taxi and I knew the streets of Berlin better than anyone. 15 years behind the wheel through rain, snow, neon nights, and fog-drenched dawns had taught me to navigate every shortcut, every detour, every hidden alley this city had to offer. But knowing the streets doesn't mean knowing the darkness that hides within them. You can't begin to imagine the horrors I've seen while driving those endless night shifts. I've seen the masks people wear when the sun is up, and the monsters they become when night falls. Some people show far less inhibition when it's dark. They drink too much, they confess too much. They expose parts of themselves you wish had stayed hidden. Sometimes, they reveal a whole different identity. I've given rides to drunks, thieves, desperate lovers, crooked politicians, broken men, and women whose eyes looked like they had seen something no human should ever see. Still, even after all of that, even after 15 long years behind the wheel, nothing could have prepared me for one single night. One night that haunts me every time I sit in this taxi. One night that left me sick to my stomach, as if something rotted inside me. One night that drained the joy out of everything I eat, everything I drink, every moment of rest. And it all began the night I met him. The night I met Julius. Berlin is a beast of a city. If you come from a small Kurdish village, like I did, it swallows you whole the first time you see its endless streets and glittering skyline. I'd grown to like my work here, or at least I thought I had. But Berlin has its cursed sides, and they rarely have anything to do with the city itself. It's the people, the peculiar ones. The ones who look so ordinary under the daylight, friendly even, but who turn into something entirely different when darkness takes over. A taxi driver learns to notice things, to sense them before they happen. The twitch of an eye, the way someone avoids your rearview mirror, the heaviness in their voice when they give you an address. Sometimes, it's just instincts. Other times, it's survival. I've driven men I knew belonged to criminal families. The kind of men who never needed to flash a weapon because you could smell the violence on them. I've picked up women who wept quietly in the back seat, but gave me addresses to mansions you only see in magazines. I've seen desperation, joy, greed, fear, and I've stayed silent through all of it. Because I'm not a judge. I'm not a savior. I'm just a driver. But that night, the night Julius entered my taxi, that was the night I realized silence doesn't always protect you. It was early March. Berlin in March can break your spirit. The nights are bone-deep cold, and fog clings to the streets like a suffocating blanket. It was the kind of night where every sane person would rather stay in bed, wrapped in warmth, away from the misty streets. But I don't have that luxury. My bed doesn't pay the bills. So I was out there, waiting in line with the other taxis at the Neukölln metro station. We drivers gather there when business is slow, sipping bitter coffee from plastic cups, warming our hands with cigarettes, trading shallow stories, and betting on who'll land the best fare. Some nights, I got lucky. Once, a man had me drive him nearly 200 miles away. That single trip paid me what I'd normally make in 3 whole nights. I thought Julius's fare might be similar. A long ride, good money, the kind of fare you don't forget. And I was right. I'll never forget it. But not for the reason I imagined. At the end of the night, I didn't even ask him for money. I remember it perfectly. The passenger door of my taxi opened with a sudden gust of cold wind that cut through me like a knife. The chill vanished as quickly as it came, replaced by something else entirely. Something warm. He stepped in, a young man, dark hair, darker eyes. His age was impossible to place. He could have been 20, or he could have been 36. But his presence, that was unmistakable. He radiated warmth and comfort, like a fire you can't help but sit close to. His clothes were sharp, tailored to fit his frame perfectly. Slacks, a black jacket, a crisp white shirt. He didn't dress like a regular Berlin passenger. When he smiled, it was the kind of smile that makes you believe him before he even speaks. "Are you free for a ride?" he asked. His voice was smooth, polite, with just the faintest trace of something else, something I couldn't quite place. Of course, I said yes. He mentioned it would be a long ride, but he had enough money to pay for it. I believed him without hesitation. He carried no luggage, just a small wrapped package, the size of a book. He held it like it mattered. "No need for the trunk," he said with a grin. "I'll just keep it on my lap." And then he did something only a few passengers ever do. He sat down in the passenger seat right beside me. People who sit there usually want to talk. At the time, I thought that was all this was. Just another lonely soul, out at night, looking for someone to listen. "Where to?" I asked. "Do you have an address?" He fastened his seatbelt with deliberate calm. "No, not exactly. I'll give you directions as we go." That should have bothered me, but it didn't. Not yet. The meter was running after all. His eyes flicked to the card on the dashboard, the one with my name and number. "Dill," he read aloud. "That's a nice name." "Thank you," I said, starting the car. "It means heart. It's a..." But my words froze in my throat. I glanced in the mirror to pull out of the taxi line, and what I saw paralyzed me. The other taxis were gone. The drivers, the waiting passengers, the drunks, the entire metro station plaza, empty. A vast, hollow silence swallowed the night. I blinked hard, rubbed my eyes, looked again. Everyone was back, the drivers smoking, the passengers rushing with bags, teenagers laughing too loud, everything normal. My mind must have played tricks on me. It was past 3 ampere, M, after all. Long shifts fogged the brain. But in that moment, when my heart was hammering in my chest, Julius just smiled as if he'd seen nothing strange. "Heart, that's beautiful," he said casually. I tried to shake it off, tried to pretend nothing had happened. But something inside me whispered, "Pay attention, Dill. Pay attention." We drove into the night. At first it was harmless conversation, light, almost comforting. "Do you work nights often?" he asked. "Only weekends, Friday and Saturday nights, pay the best." He laughed softly. "Then you must sleep the rest of your weekend away." "Sleep is a gift," I said. "There's nothing better than laying your head down after a long night." "I agree," he said with a laugh. But there was something forced about it, a stiffness that didn't belong in laughter. If I could sleep forever, I would. Then his tone shifted. "It's ironic, isn't it? We work so hard to live, but in doing so, we lose the time to actually live." I glanced at him. For the first time, I saw it, a shadow in his expression, confidence masking melancholy. Something about him reminded me of my older brother, but at the same time, he felt disturbingly familiar, as though I were looking at a reflection of something inside myself. I found myself speaking words I never share with passengers. If it were up to me, I'd live a simple life. A small house in a village, a garden, a few chickens, quiet. He turned, studying me. Our eyes met, and I saw something that unsettled me deeply. His eyes weren't just dark, they were endless, black as void, with no trace of white or iris, as though his pupils had swallowed everything else. And yet, it didn't feel threatening. It felt familiar. That's when I noticed it. The streets. I didn't recognize them. That shouldn't have been possible. I know Berlin like the back of my hand. Every district, every alley. But these streets, tall buildings lined both sides, their windows completely dark, like hollow eyes staring down at us. No streetlights, no shops, no life. It was as if we were driving through a city that looked like Berlin, but wasn't Berlin. And that was the night I realized some rides should never be taken. If you felt the chill crawling down your spine, make sure to hit the like button. Share this story with a friend who dares to listen in the dark, and subscribe to Over the Globe for more terrifying journeys into the unknown. Until next time, keep your doors locked and don't trust every passenger that steps inside.